What are you doing standing on the street corner?
Waiting.
Waiting for what?
The tour.
Good evening. I'm Adam, and that's Danielle that's walking away from me. What are you doing? You're not supposed to drink pop, Danielle.
It doesn't say how much. Ooh, they have Aquafina though.
Get some Aquafina.
I gotta go to my purse.
I have money.
Isn't
Okay, so Danielle got a pop, which she's not supposed to. But we're getting ready to do a tour. And Danielle's with us tonight. I'm here, and John's here. And there's two other people that are doing the tour. It's a really small group, but hey, we get to videotape a lot. Danielle's going to videotape from the back, actually. But we're at the Avon. How many people have seen Harry Potter, the Deathly Hallows Part 2? I haven't. I don't plan on doing it either.
I don't do Harry
How's the
Potter.
popcorn?
Good.
We should mention, if you're ever in Decatur, Illinois, and you come to the Avon Theater, no joke, this is the best popcorn in Central Illinois, right?
And they have bacon popcorn.
And they have bacon flavored popcorn. It's amazing. You guys should come here and just try it.
Yeah.
Taste test Saturdays. The Avon Theater popcorn is amazing. Run.
Schellenberger Mill is about 6 blocks of this area, and right out here where that vacant lot is was the main office. You want to get out and take some pictures. It's kind of a cool place. Can you hit that? You don't have to, but at the back, see the tower? That's what we're going to talk about. So,
Okay.
David Schellenberger built this mill in 1888, designed specifically to process grain to send south to the breweries in St. Louis. And he prospered. He did very, very well. In fact, like I say, 6 blocks this building, this compound encompassed, and he made a lot of money very rapidly. Became a very wealthy man until 1920, when the passage of the Volstead Act outlawed the production and sale of alcohol. Prohibition shut down many, many breweries and related businesses just like this, and that's what happened to David Schellenberger. He lived it along for about 3 years and finally shut the doors, and this compound was leased out to a man named John Allen, who just used most of it for storage. In November of 1924, the guys down at the firehouse where we just were got a call saying the mill was on fire. By the time they got down here, the whole place was engulfed. It was burning so hot and so fast they couldn't control it. It became an operation to save the buildings on the perimeter. So that's what they were doing, was wetting the buildings on the perimeter down. And as they did that, they started to hear screams coming from inside the compound. They knew exactly what they were going to find when they got into the place. And what they think happened is men jumped off the train down at the train yard and came over here like they tended to do a lot, and broke into one of the buildings, in fact the office building that sat right there, and they fired up the furnace. The long dormant furnace hadn't been fired in 4 years. Now all this grain dust, all this stuff around was highly combustive, and something went wrong, and the place exploded. And these guys ran from building to building trying to escape the flames. They couldn't get off the property. All they could do was try to get somewhere that wasn't on fire, like the tower at the back. That's one of 5 that used to be out here. They were full of grain. The heat blew the doors open. That grain spread out here into the yard, and it was a sea of fire, they said. Well, when the fire was out and they were able to get in here, they went into that building, one of the last buildings remaining, walked into that building, and they found the charred remains of the 3 men who had ran inside. The newspaper accounts talk about the fire, and they talk about those buildings in particular. They were able to see them from downtown as the flames shot through the roofs like chimneys. They opened the door, ran in, and didn't shut the door, and sucked all those flames up behind them and roasted them alive. So it was a grisly end for these guys. Now behind me is a housing complex. It's been several different housing complexes over the years. While a lot's changed there, one thing has remained constant. They tell their kids, don't play over here near the old mill because it's haunted. Now they don't see anything. They don't see burned corpses staggering through the yard. They don't see lights. None of that. They hear screams. Screams in the night, presumably from these guys roasting alive inside. You can still see the scorch marks on the side of the building. That's left over from the fire. One night we were here and we had the big bus, and Sharon was driving, and I'm not paying any attention to anything but the story, and standing in the wheel well, and I hear this pounding on the side of the bus, and Sharon rolls, opens the window and says, "What?" And there's a guy who lives right over there, who saw us parked here and ran over and said, "You have to leave. You can't sit here. You can't sit here. That place is haunted." He'd hear the screams so often at night that he'd just turn his TV up real loud. He said he heard them all the time. So, again, not a place I'd recommend you come down to after dark. But if you
I wish I knew all this while I was at school here.
yeah, I wouldn't recommend then you come down here.
Danielle. What is wrong with you?
It's really bright.
Whatever. We have to be really quiet. It's scary out here. Hello.
Hi. Holy crap.
That appears to be watching the stage. They see people in the audience from time to time. The seats rise and fall as if someone is sitting in them. Sometimes they'll hear in the very quiet, dark theater, which is very odd. Vaudeville was king. Vaudeville was the form of entertainment that most people knew. Before movies, before TV, before radio, they brought live acts here. This is on the main route between St. Louis and Chicago. This is actually the gem of that circuit. This is the one everybody liked to play, including a young man who was a comedian, and he was a dance instructor. He would actually teach members of the audience how to do the Charleston. That was his job, and he played here many times. In his autobiography, he writes about one of his favorite theaters on the circuit, and that was a man named Bob Hope. There's 4 places you can do that. One's right there, obviously. One's at the back, and there's 2 in the lobby. No one near any of them. And the lights came on, and I said, "We didn't do that. They want us gone." So it's time to go, just like now, which is why we turn the lights on now, so you can see it. And it's under constant renovation. You can't tell some of the renovation, some of the stuff has been done. A lot of it's heating and air and things like that. A lot of it's the stage stuff. I will tell you the most famous story, because we have the lights on, you can see. Our most famous ghost is One-Armed Red.